Hey everyone, it's Italian Woodward, Fish Hounds Guide Service. It's March 13th. We finally got up, had a whole week's worth of warm weather. Trees are budding out, pollen's everywhere. We got 73, almost 74 degree water temperature in the back of this cove. Several of these coves are warming up very fast. I'm in about 3-4 foot of water in this main pocket here. Anyway, we're trying to catch some fish, crappie on trees and buckbrush, using a 10-foot Duck Commander double touch jigging pole. We're just one poling it. I got a little small crappie jig here my wife tied, little flash, all flash jig with a chartreuse head. It's real flashy. Anyway, we're going to try to hit them a couple hours this afternoon and see if we can get on some tree fish. Just going to dip around some of these, preferably cypress trees, and see if we can find a few crappie this afternoon. Having to get in here with them, back up under this tree. There's two off this one tree right here. I just missed a fish. This buckbrush right here with got a big laying down sweet gum buckbrush. Anyway, this is some of the hardest fishing you can do, but it's some of the most exciting too. I hadn't got a hit here for several spots I've dropped, and so I kind of wasn't ready or expecting. Anyway, he thumped it as soon as I got it in there, and I go to set the hook and hang up, miss him and hang up in the tree. So that's the way it goes with this kind of fishing. You're not gonna get to them crappie typically without getting down on your knees or standing up and leaning over. It's just always something. Limbs all in your face, and so it's just a lot of finesse fishing, trying to get your jig into some of these holes that you think that the crappie that they're going to be. So, but there's one there. I didn't hook him. There may be more. It's a pretty little spot. A lot of times you'll find a spot and there'll be multiple fish on one spot. Sometimes it's a male and a female, like the two I've just got. I think that was a small male and female. Male was in there, female was in there laying her eggs. As soon as she's done laying her eggs, she's gonna go on. She'll leave and the male will stay and guard the eggs, guard the nest. So I have hit clusters of cypress trees. It'd be, 20, 30 trees in a big cluster there, and caught limits out of one little spot. There's so many fish in there. But what I got is a little chartreuse. That's an all flash jig my wife tied. Little chartreuse 1/8 ounce head with instead of hair of some sort, it's got flash. That's a sickle hook. So that's all I'm using. Something that's real bright and flashy. As soon as you drop it in where they're at, boom, they're gonna see it and nail it. So let's try to get this fish. There's a big old pretty male. I almost gave up on that tree all by itself, and I done fished almost the whole thing, but look at that pretty black male in there. Beautiful fish. Anyway, you just really, the few fish I've already caught today, they're not loaded up on these trees yet. You got to hit 4 or 5 or more to catch one. But the few fish that I've caught, a lot of times what will happen, you'll try to come in on these trees and you kind of spook the fish a little. They'll just go around the backside of the tree. You can fish all 3 sides and not think anything's there. As soon as you drop it in the backside, he's sitting there just hiding behind the backside of the tree, and it's in his nature. It's there. It's in his nest area. He's got to hit it. So it just goes to show you got to literally fish all 4 sides of that tree. seem to be, I got fishing some trees that are about a foot deep. I hadn't caught a fish on a 1 foot deep tree. I'm catching them on about 1.5 to 2 foot trees is where the few I've caught seem to be. They will get on them 1 foot trees, but they just aren't right now. Another thing, the bigger the tree, the better. If you see a big old nice sized base tree, you need to try to make an effort to get in there to it. Chances are there's going to be a fish on it. What I'm telling you, all the effort it took to get in there to that tree, and he was on it. And there may be more than this one. See if I can get one more. Oh, that's a big tree. A lot of times you'll have more than one fish. I've caught as many as 5 fish off one tree before. Sometimes I've heard of more coming off of one tree. Knew there was going to be one on that tree. Some boys, I'll tell you, this is a lot of work. This ain't for a nice pretty boat. As you can see, I got this old 18-foot Alumacraft here. I call this the tree boat just because this is really the only time of year I really use this thing. Is a little old flat bottom, got a little 90 horse, old beat up old motor guide on it. I chew up every limb and stick and everything in my way trying to get in there to these trees, but like I say, it's not easy, but man, to me it's just about as thrilling as it gets, trying to get into these trees knowing that there's most likely going to be a fish. A big old fat based cypress tree, and I mean, as soon as I got in there close to it, little old dark male, or maybe one more as big as this tree is. You just never know. You got to fish them right. When you put the work in to get in here to them, you want to go ahead and fish the whole tree, make sure there's nothing else there. little small bass on that tree. I was wondering why there wasn't no crappie. I got two trees, one big and one small, one right side by side. And about to give up, fished the very back side of that with a little small bass sitting there on it. A little dinky brim, and they got me hung up in the daggum tree limb. Can you believe that? That sucker about pulled the pole out of my hand. All that for that, and I mean, he run up and hit it. I caught him in his gill. He didn't even eat it, but he sure made a mess of things, messing up some good crappie fishing there, a little turd. Ought to put him on the op hook. Anyway, I'm gonna still fish this tree a little better. There's got to be a crappie on this tree. Too pretty. There he is, back there on the back side of it. I knew there was one on this tree. If there wasn't, that meant somebody done fished it earlier today and caught them off. I started thinking that. I had a bunch of little brim in there thumping on the jig on this front side. So I started kind of thinking that somebody done caught a male off there that was guarding some eggs, and then brim done moved in there and started eating them eggs. But on the back side of the tree, there's a male there. Try to make sure there ain't one more in there. Tell you the thing about a 10-foot pole and doing this is sometimes it's a pain trying to get it in and out of these limbs. Sometimes it's a blessing because you can reach further back there in there too. So you really can't win for losing with a 10-foot pole trying to tree fish. You gotta either give a little or take a little. You gotta most of the time I prefer the 10-foot because I can reach back in under this stuff and get to a tree that I probably wouldn't be able to get to with a shorter pole. That would make it a little easier to maneuver in and out of all these limbs. So that's the reason I use it. I like to get in there and reach far back as I can on them. Nice one right there now. Good fish. Nice medium, upper medium. Right here on this tree here, it's not even a cypress tree. Well, this water is so muddy, and it's hard to believe these crappie will be in here in these conditions. But every year during the spring, people think, oh, they're not in that old muddy water. They're not going to be in that muddy water. And even sometimes I get that in my head. But, you know, the whole lakes, most all lakes this time of year in the spring are going to be getting a lot of rain, and you got all your pollen and mess everywhere. It just makes a mess of the lake. And you know, if they didn't spawn in muddy water, they probably wouldn't spawn at all. So, but like I said, even myself, I'm guilty of hunting for clear water to fish, even spawn fish. But once it happens, and like right now, and I'm not killing them, but I probably got 8 or 10, maybe 12. Once it happens, they got to go in and spawn, and this is just the way it always is. So best thing you can do is use some kind of bright color. Chartreuse is always great for tree fishing. But really and truly, just about anything that you put in put beside that tree with a crappie on it, he's going to hit it. A lot of times what I'll do, if I can't reach the entire tree, the backside or something, I'll kind of give that jig a pop, and it'll kind of vibrate in there, and I feel like, in my mind, that gets their attention if they're on the backside and I can't reach them. I feel like if I'll do that a few times, he realizes there's something around that tree, and he'll come around and check it out and eat it. All right, folks, I think I'm gonna call it quits. It goes to show things you got to pay attention to. I caught one in this pocket here, and the water temperature in here is about 2 degrees warmer than it was in that little small cove I was in first. I'm gonna see how many we got here. These are all beautiful black males. I mean, just as pretty a fish you ever seen. Gorgeous colors on them. Let's see, I got 2. I got 12 fish in there. Beautiful fish, all males. But yeah, it's a little bit early. Water temperature is just now getting right. And they've been catching them in some other places on the lake for about a week or so now on trees. This is the first. I'd fished some buckbrush and trees yesterday, didn't do a bit of good. I caught 1 fish. So anyway, they're just now moving in, and certain areas of the lake will start sooner. It all depends on the water temperature. So this was a blast, just single poling, fighting in and out of these bushes. Like I say, it's a lot of work. Some people really don't like it. It's one of my favorite things of the year is doing this. So as much work as it is, the reward is awesome. Just to be able to catch these things in a foot to 3 foot of water. Sometimes you see them dart up off the tree and hit your jig, and it's just exciting. Then they fight like crazy, and then just the challenge of trying to hoist them out of all that, and it's very challenging fishing, and that's what makes it so rewarding. So anyway, I had a blast. I'm gonna probably come back tomorrow and one more warm night like this, and within a couple of days it's gonna be on. You could hit some places. Like I was telling you earlier, you get in a cluster of trees like I was just in right there, and we've caught 2 limits out of, and never hardly leave sight of where we started. So you just got to catch them right. It only happens a few 3-4 weeks. Really, the best of it's only a couple of 2 weeks out of the year, and so you got to get it while you can. Beautiful fish, though. Like I always say, please support my channel and hit subscribe on my page, and I'll be bringing as much to you as I can. Thanks for watching.